Hey everybody, this is Alessandro. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you a scenario where you should not go and clean up your graph editor after you completed your own animation, and talk about it more in general where there are the scenario where it's important that you go and clean the curve and moment where it's not that important, and explain to you why probably you're using the graph editor in the wrong way. Sometimes I talk with students or even animator, and they have this misconception where they just have to clean the graph editor and make pretty curves, right? Not understanding the connection between the graph editor and the animation, right? And when that's not the case, all right? Let's jump into this quick blocking that I did. I only focus, guys, on the arm movement, as you will see. So probably we are starting this the animation in this position where it's crossing the arm, and I want to raise the arm like this, right? So I want to have this kind of arc. Obviously, guys, as you can see, that's not the most pretty animation I ever did. It's mostly because I want to show you the concept of what I'm talking about, right? So first important thing is that, as you can see here, we are lacking all the in-between, right? So what I'm gonna do right now, I wanna do very quickly some in-between overall here, because I wanna have some easy in, easy out acceleration. Okay, so here maybe the body is gonna start very, very slow. Maybe we can have another one more here in the middle, slightly more facing this one here. Okay, I'm gonna do the in-between first, and then I'm gonna go, adjusting it a little bit more. All right, boom, and then here it's easing out. Right, maybe here again I want to have another little acceleration. Okay, I'm gonna do very, very simple, guys. Very simple, easy in. Okay, nothing too crazy. Again, I just want to explain to you the concept that I'm talking about, right? Okay. What I want to do now, I want to select the locator, because it's gonna help me to track the movement. All right, and I want to adjust the rotation here of the arc. Okay, maybe here I want to go a little bit more here. I want to make some pretty arc here. Okay, so I want to adjust here, right? Maybe here a little bit more like this, right? I want to go here. Yeah, as you can see here, it's kind of breaking the flow, right? So I want to keep the elbow going up. Okay, so now that I track the arc of the elbow, obviously I want to track the arc of this one too, all right? And I want to see how the, boom. So here, for example, again, I want to adjust this one overall here, okay? I'm gonna, yeah, so you can see that there are some issue here. Okay, yeah, maybe here I want to adjust it a little bit more down. Now I'm going to do a quick pass to the hand as well. Okay, so when it's going down like this, I want, for example, the hand to bend in this way. Okay, so yeah, I want to have this specific. I'm doing this because I want to have specific shape on the hand. Okay, so yeah, I want to have this kind of profile shape like this. Okay, maybe here I want it to something like this. So you see now I made this nice gesture with the arms, right? And basically what I wanted to reflect when it comes to animation, that especially when you're doing feature film, visual effects and stuff like that, and you have a lock camera, what you are thinking is the same like to the animation. You're doing every single key, right? And you should craft those keys because you want a certain shape, certain arc, and stuff like that. Okay, so I made the arc like this and switch in this position because that's exactly what I want. All right, and as you can see here, I'm doing this one without even checking at the graph editor. So let's take a look now for a moment what I spline, what happened. Okay. Okay, so now as you can see, I spline, and more or less it flows quite well. It maintains the arc and everything. This is the reason because I did quite a lot of breakdown, all right? So one of the mistakes that a lot of people are doing it, okay, once I've done this one, if you wanna make it extra polish and everything, you should go in the graph editor and make the curve nice and smooth and clean, right? So let me save here and show you why this doesn't work. Let's take the shoulder, for example. As you can see here, it's quite messy, all right? And you know what a lot of people will do, especially here, right? They see what's happening here, right? What people will do normally, they're like, this is very messy. So basically, what's happening is that they started to delete stuff, okay, just because they want the curve to be, smooth and nice, not really checking how this is actually affecting your animation, okay. So you see there is a little bit of up and down here. They think, oh, it just might be a mistake. I don't want to have any shake. I want to have a clean arc. So they just go and clean all this, and they think they're doing something really smooth, which is in a way, yes, maybe it's gonna look very smooth, but I can guarantee you guys, you are deleting all the details about the breakdown that you did, the overlapping, the overshoot, the drag, all those things that sometimes, depending on your access, it might require, it might necessarily needs to have some counter animation. And obviously, you see me doing here as a test to all the three controller, right? The shoulder, forearm, and wrist as well, all right? And just you will see in a minute the difference how yes, it will look smooth, but it will look very generic, very bland, and very boring, all right? So now that I make those curves pretty nice, as you can see, I lose all the flavor and all the breakdown that I've done before into the movement, and now everything looks very generic. So if you notice the forearm and the arm kind of like moving together, by the arm, all right? The spacing is very even right now because all the acceleration, deceleration, that I did before was basically being deleted because you just wanted to make pretty curves, right? And all those details you put in the animation, they are completely gone. And I know you've been taught sometimes, hey, must do pretty curves and clean curves and stuff like that, but that's not always how to make a good animation. Let me roll back for a reason, explain you why that's it, all right? Okay, so we go back to the version done by me. I want to explain you why just cleaning up those curves doesn't always work all the time, all right? And if I go to gimbal, for example, you'll notice now that the two axes are overlapping a little bit. So in order to make a nice arc, I had to do a little bit of cheating, okay? Especially within the X and the Z, all right? I had to move them in a certain different way, and sometimes I have to accelerate one axis to go in a particular way, or the other way around, okay? Maybe there is a reason why I wanted to have, this one going down and then pushing up, because I wanted to have this inside arc in a certain way, and because of the gimbal lock, sometimes this one needs to be pushed in this way, all right? So just deleting everything is not always gonna fix, all right? Another part here, in order to achieve the right, as you know, I was tracking the arc of the wrist and I was using this one to manipulate, right? And I move it all three axes. Normally, most of the time when I pose, I use only this one. However, when I need to tweak the arc, I do small tweaking in order to really control the arc very well. I'm gonna move it around as long as it's minor range and I don't do stuff like this, okay? As long as the range is minimum. But in order to make the arc very clean and fight a little bit the gimbal lock that I have here, not a huge gimbal lock, but as I showed you guys, the axes are not perfect here. I needed to cheat a little bit here, so I had to do stuff like this in order to get a clean arc. All right, and again, that's why going and clean stuff like this and make it pretty is not gonna improve your animation, but just gonna destroy what you've done in your blocking plus, right? Even the hand here, for example, you see when the arms is going down, the hand is bending like this. It means I had to counter animate the rotation of the forearm to compensate the one with the hand, okay? And it's okay that sometimes it will happen, it will have shake like this, all right? But again, as long as it's intentional, it is okay, and you do not have to always go and delete stuff just because it looks pretty, okay? It makes no sense. That's not what you're doing animation. You're just deleting stuff and hoping that your animation is gonna look good. But sometimes, as I showed you, it will just destroy the animation that you did, okay? Of course, guys, after you finish your animation, I still go and check the graph editor because maybe, even after all I explained to you, there is still a possibility, you know what, if you adjust this one will maybe will improve. But maybe in this case it's not the case because maybe the weight is going down and I want to push this one even higher. So this one needs to accelerate, right? So there must be a reason, right? But again, I still check every curve and say, you know what, let me see here if I push this one, if it improves or not. In this case, it looks, for example, is improving a little bit, so I could still do it. Again, guys, you need to do this one, understanding what you're doing, thinking about what is the image that you have on screen and not thinking about it, oh, I'm gonna make a pretty curve. Now, guys, I wanna show you another quick example where instead you should clean and pay very attention to the graph editor. Again, I'm just raising the arms here. I'm gonna do very few easy in, easy out. Okay, I'm gonna do a key here. I'm gonna do a key here, right? I'm gonna do maybe, yeah, little things here, right? Boom. And maybe here like this. Very simple, easy in, easy out. Okay. Now, the reason why in this case is you can pay attention more to the graph editor, because in this specific case, my animation is a lot more simpler, right? And if I take a look at the arms, all right, it's just moving in one direction. Very simple, right? If I go in gimbal and take a look at the graph editor here, you see it's just moving along the Z. Z is the one doing major movement, right? So there is no other breakdown or stuff like that. So in this case, yes, I will expect this one to be really straightforward, and I can go and clean it, you know, make sure it's really nice and smooth, right? Maybe I want to do the acceleration here. I can do stuff like this because again, that's basically what is happening in this animation, which is, again, it's very simple. We can say maybe a bit boring, but once in a while there are cases like this, right, where you just want to do this, see, slow. And in order to do this one, in this case, yes, if you have stuff like this where your animation is suddenly like this, right, yes, in these cases will make sense to kind of go and clean it, because again, that's the major axis that is doing the movement. There is no gimbal lock, there is no other things going on, and that's the cases where you wanna go and clean the graph editor, right? But again, guys, I'm doing this video today because I see a lot of confusion. People all go from one extreme to one side and feel like, okay, just about what you see on screen and don't touch the graph editor, or I just rely too much on the graph editor because everything needs to have pretty curve and stuff like that, which again is the wrong approach, okay? Graph editor is a powerful tool, yes, but you need to know when and how to use it, or else, as we saw before, if you started to clean up some key and stuff like that just to make pretty curve, as I repeated a million of times, it's just gonna make your animation worse. You need to have control of your own animation, know what you want to achieve, and use the controller and the graph editor to help you to achieve that. In some cases, you can go one way. Some other cases, you're gonna go in the other way. In some cases, you're gonna do a mix. You're gonna use, for example, you're not gonna focus too much on the graph editor on the arms, but maybe for the shoulder and the spine, yes, because the movement is very simple. So it just needed to be fluid with a proper easy in, easy out, so you can combine both. Okay, guys? So I hope this concept is gonna be very clear for you, because or else if you use the graph editor just by deleting stuff without having a proper understanding of what you're doing, your animation will lose all the beautiful pose that you've done. And on the other side, if you never use it, your animation might always look poppy, very dirty, and will lack polish. Okay, guys? I hope this tutorial was extensive enough, and you can let me know if you have any question. See you next time. Ciao, guys.